Hey Brown, and whoever else ends up watching this. Here's a video of me walking through my setup that I have found for doing remote sessions at the studio here in order to help the practice of quarantining and social distancing, but still be able to work. And I hope that it in some way helps you guys with classes. And I hope that this is something that you guys could utilize in your production classes in particular. So this setup involves two different softwares. The first of which is called Loopback, and the second of which is the actual video chatting software, which we'll get to later. Now, this setup is for a producer who is wanting to video chat with someone and send them their DAW's audio through the video chatting service directly. Now, I know that there is a way to do this with Zoom, but my boss and I were experiencing difficulties with that and frustration with the quality, as well as we were having weird issues with the audio speeding up and slowing down and other strange anomalies like that. And so we decided that there had to be a better method out there, and I decided to discover that method. Now, there are some expensive plugins out there that allow you to essentially in high quality directly stream your DAW audio in real time to like an IP address online that somebody can log into and hear. But this is essentially for the easier case, and this is more accessible in my opinion. In terms of the producer's end, this only cost $100 to pull off. The video chatting software is free, but the Loopback, which is this digital I/O software that you see right now, it costs $100. But as far as I'm aware, you can actually use the license key as many times as you want upon purchase. I've already used it on two different computers, and I haven't received any sort of message about running out of activations or anything like that. So the goal of this was to find the cheapest but still a quality way to stream your DAW audio through the video chat that you're on. And so let's just jump into it. I'll show you how I have it set up and everything you need for it. So this is Loopback. Where you can find it, if you just Google Loopback Mac, should be the first result. This rogueamoeba.com. It's a third party software, Loopback cable-free audio. It has a free download, but again, it costs $100 to purchase. But I think you do get a 14-day free trial. So that button right there will get you Loopback audio. So once you pull that up, you'll open up a screen that'll be completely blank. This on the left here won't be here, and all this won't be here. But you'll be able to create a new virtual device. Excuse me. So what this software does is it allows you to internally create an I/O within your computer. So unlike an audio driver for an interface, something like Console, or in my case, this Apogee Control, this I/O is actually internally and specifically designed to route specific applications within your computer. So you can route Spotify to wherever you want, separate from Safari audio, and separate from Finder's audio. So it's a really, really helpful tool in general. And so I think, outside of this particular situation, it's just a useful tool to have. But it also is very useful in this case for the video chatting situation, because it allows you to send specific applications to the video chat without having the video chat audio loop back into itself. So first, what you need to do is create a new virtual device. All right. So I've already got one set up here for this particular recording, but I'm going to set one up for the video chatting situation. So this first scenario that I'll walk through, I'll do a separate video for a scenario where you don't have an audio interface, but this first scenario will be for those who have an audio interface because again, this is really a situation and that's keeping in mind a producer video chatting with students, or a teacher video chatting with students, or in our case here at the studio, producers video chatting with songwriters or artists. So we're going to be creating two devices here, one of which is going to be the device that the video chatting software will use as the input, and then the second of which is the audio device used for the output. So we'll create two devices. So the first one I'm going to call Loopback Audio. So this virtual device will have all of the audio that I want to send to the video chatting software, whether that's Zoom or FaceTime or whatever. So we'll just keep the name up here. Once you create it, it pulls up the screen, and we'll just keep the name Loopback Audio, all right? So that's fine. So then we have 3 columns here, and then some blue lines. So this is actually creating a digital patch bay, which I think is a really neat design, and helps visually. So the two things that pop up immediately, there's a virtual channel, channels 1 and 2, and then there's this source called pass-through. Pass-through is actually the device, or this is actually the source that everything will go to, that when we use our video chatting software and we select this as an input, this is where all the audio is coming from. So we need to send anything that we want to send to our video chatting software, we need to send this pass-through right here. So what we're going to do first is, in this case, I actually have already set up, so in my system preferences here, if I go to sound, my output for my Mac audio is set to Ensemble, which is my audio interface. So the, anything in my computer is just going to already be going to my Ensemble, which is great. Additionally, let me just pull up a Logic session here. Additionally, my my DAW Logic in this case is also, we crashed there. May have to open a different session here. We'll just do this one. My DAW, the playback engine, as it's known on Pro Tools, on Logic it's known as the Core Audio, is set to my audio interface, the Ensemble, as well. And so I'll show you that as soon as we can get it pulled up here. Okay, so preferences, audio, as we can see here, my output device and input device, that's the playback engine right there. It's called the Core Audio. So that's set to the Ensemble as well. So essentially, already, everything that I want to be sent to my video chatting software is already being sent to my Ensemble. So really, the easiest situation here is just route my Ensemble audio, everything that's coming here, to my video chatting software. Now, where this comes in handy, or where this comes into play, is you have to create a new virtual channel. So if you have UADs, if you have any universal audio devices on console, you can create a virtual channel. You'll need to create another one for the video chatting software to run through its own thing, and then you'll need to mute that. You'll need to mute that channel in the main mixer. So this bottom row of faders is my main mixer. So I've got Logic coming in, all other Mac audio, my Click, TalkBack, all of it's in this main mixer, all my audio channels here. And then I created this other channel, Chat, and I have it muted. Now, the point of this is that in order to have this set up properly, you actually need to be wearing headphones while doing the video chat. This is so that, when you're talking to your students or to your clients, they're not hearing themselves in double. So you're going to have to wearing headphones regardless. That's not for this particular situation with Loopback. This is just any situation really when you're running a session and you want to be talking to them, you're going to deal with doubling because of just playing back through itself. So create a new channel called chat, mute it, and then what we'll do over here, back to our loop back, so we've created this virtual device, we need to receive the source of the ensemble, all of the audio that's going to it, and send it to the pass-through. So what we do is pull up the source button, click the little plus sign. We have several different options here. What's really nice about this menu is you can actually just click this select application button, and you can pick any individual application on your computer, which is great. But for now, because everything's going to my ensemble, we're actually just going to pull up the ensemble here, which is great. Now, the only thing that I don't love about this software is that it defaults to putting whatever is channels 1 and 2, it automatically routes it to channels 1 and 2 on the loopback. So we just need to delete these virtual patch cables here. So all you have to do is just highlight them and click delete down here in the left corner. Okay, so we have the ensemble here. Now, in this particular case, for my device, channels 33 and 34 are set up to be this first mixer's master output. It could be different for you guys on your Apollos, or if you have a Focusrite or whatever it is. But for me, in my case, 33 and 34 is that master output for the first mixer. So this is what I need to route to my pass-through. And just to show that, I'll play a little something off Spotify. You can see it coming through here, and it's coming through 33 and 34 there. And if I were to mute 33 and 34, no more audio. So now let's draw some virtual patch cables. All you have to do is just literally click on the dot here, click and drag. We'll route it to channels 1 and 2. Channels 1 and 2 are already passing right back to pass through. And there's no need for it to be sent to, you can send it to another monitor source. But all of the audio that I want to hear is already being sent to my ensemble, so there's no need to send it anywhere else. So that's really all you have to do for this, for the input for your video chatting software. So this is the input. In fact, just to clarify, we'll just go ahead and call it chat input. Just to clear the water there. So now we need to create our output for the chat audio. So the goal of this is to have the chat audio on its separate channel so that we can have it only in our headphones and not outputting back into the input, which will cause it just an endless loop, and that'd be terrible. So let's create another new virtual device. We'll call this chat out. All right. So this one will work a little differently. First, we have to pull up the video chatting software that you're going to be using. So just for now, I'm going to show it with FaceTime, just because FaceTime is very simple in terms of settings, but then I'll show you my actual video chatting software. So I'll pick FaceTime here. All right. So FaceTime, the audio is it's going straight to channels 1 and 2 and then to the pass-through. And then what we need to do is we need to send it to our virtual channel we created on our audio interface. So let's pull up our audio interface. Sorry. We need to delete these patch cables here. There we go. And again, this is all my outputs here. So my outputs are actually different. So the chat audio is outputs 9 and 10 here. So I'll go ahead and route the left and right here to 9 and 10. All right. So now let's pull up FaceTime. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and call my phone. And we can see it's already routing into the chat input here, right? So our new virtual device, it's coming in there. And you can see it's not coming into this first mixer because I have it muted there, but it's coming into my headphone mixer there. So we'll end this. And just to show you what it looks like in terms of the settings, now it's glitching out. Hang on. It didn't want to hang up. So if we go to video settings, this also has the audio settings. So in this case, we need to change the microphone input to our chat input, which is that virtual device we created here that has all of our ensemble audio. All right, so let's go here, change it to chat input. And then for the output, we do chat out. Now, earlier it was receiving the audio already, and that's because this creates another output for it, and it bypasses that. So I believe, I'm just going to test this. If I'm wrong about this, we'll redo it. But I believe that we also can just delete that because it's going to take the audio either way. So we'll test this one more time. And we can see it's coming through, which is great. So that's set up perfectly, just as we need it. So I'm going to go ahead and answer this on my phone here. And so I have muted the microphone on my phone so that you're not going to hear me double. But what I will do now is I'm going to play Spotify here. And just to make sure here. Yeah. Okay. So I've got Spotify playing. It's going in our chat input. All right. And you can already see there is activity coming through the channel on FaceTime. And just to prove it, I'm going to turn the volume up on my phone here and let it play through the microphone. So that means we've got it set up perfectly, which is great. So that's all you have to do. Now, the only other thing that we need to set up is you need to be able to talk to them. So in my case, what I can do is I can set up where this microphone that I'm talking to you with now, which is my 7B, I can just route that directly. So it's in channel 3 right now. I can just add another patch cable, which is great because I have it muted in my mixer so that I'm not hearing it in double when I'm recording, but they'll hear it directly, direct monitoring. So that's one way to do it, is you can send that. So you can already see we're getting activity there. The other way you can do it is if you don't want to use a mic through your interface, if you want to use your computer's mic, you can pull that up in your audio devices. Let's see here. Yeah, so I have a Yeti microphone that I have plugged in. It's just a USB microphone, so I can use that. Pull it up here, and it directly routes it already, so they can hear me through that. So that's one option as well. I don't think that you can use your Mac microphone if you're not set to it as your input on the Mac computer, which you can just change that super easily because you shouldn't need, my Mac mic isn't actually showing up. Maybe there isn't a mic on my Mac. Sorry about that. Maybe if your Mac has a mic, it'll show up in this list and therefore show up in your audio devices list, and then you can just set that up that way. So there's that. Now let me add one more device here, and let me show you my video chatting software. I'll go ahead. Okay, it's deleted there. Yeah. So I am using a software called Discord. Discord is a video chatting software, as well as it has many other functions. It was designed for, with gamers in mind, and gamers are using it very actively right now. They use it in tandem with whatever streaming site that they or streaming platform that they use. Discord is partnered with a lot of those streaming platforms, and it's a really useful tool for them. So Discord is set up in a way that you, same as any other video chatting software, you've got, your friends, you add them just like Skype. You create a username and you add them that way. But then it has these servers. Let me go ahead and, well, that's fine. It has these servers, which are essentially groups. Um, I'll come back to the servers in a second because the servers are really just an added feature. It's not super necessary to what we're doing together here. So let me just show you how to do the video chat. Let me close up FaceTime here. First, what we need to do is change our settings just like we did with FaceTime. So somewhere on the screen, if you're using a phone, for the students or whatever, there's a settings here, but on the computer app, it's down here in the bottom left, user settings. Click that. Under app settings here, this third category, voice and video. All right. So same thing with FaceTime. We just need to change our inputs and output here. Input device, we want chat input, which is going to be all of our ensemble audio, and then the microphone that we chose to put in here, which I deleted off of that. Let me put that back in there real quick. And then you can already see as I'm talking here and as I scratch the Yeti microphone, you can see that audio is coming in. Then for the output device, obviously pick chat out. Just to test further, I'm going to mute my Yeti here. There we go. And let me play some Spotify audio. We've got audio coming through. Let me play some Logic audio. We've got Logic coming through. So we're gold. Okay, what I love about Discord, and the reason why I'm using it over Zoom is, number one, the interface seems a little more user-friendly, and I'm always drawn to better designs anyways. But in terms of functionality, the biggest thing in terms of doing remote sessions as a producer, and I'm sure as production students that's frustrating, is you don't have very many settings with Skype or Zoom or FaceTime. FaceTime has hardly any settings aside from input and output to mess with in terms of audio. Discord gives you the settings that you need that are practical and make sense. So you have, the input volume and output volume. What's really nice about the output volume is it starts at 100% and you can go up from there. So, if for some reason you're talking to someone and they don't know how to turn up their mic, you can just turn it up for them. And, if you're already maxed out, you've got plenty of headroom there. You've got a whole other 100% to go up. So that's really, really useful. The mic volume, I keep it 82% just because I'm sending a lot of audio in there, and I just find that to be safer. Not that it distorts anyways, but I just keep it at 82% to be safe. But then you also have the input mode. So this is when you actually have audio coming through to the people you're talking to. So the first setting is voice activity, which is just a normal setting, which is basically like if your mic's not muted, audio's coming through, no matter if you're talking or not. If you mute it, it's off. If it's unmuted, your audio should be coming through. And then they have this input sensitivity, which is a noise gate, and you can set that to wherever. Now, in the producer's case, as you're sending Logic Audio or Pro Tools or whatever, you need to actually turn this off, because if you're like soloing something that's quieter, you don't want it to get muted by the gate. So pull this all the way down, and then make sure this switch is off, because this switch, when it's on, it will assign the gate for itself based on how loud you're talking or how loud your audio is. So you need to turn that off, pull your volume all the way down. The second setting, which is really useful on the receiving end of this, is push to talk. So when you have this selected, you actually have no audio passing through your mic unless you're pressing down an assigned keybind, pressing and holding. And the keybind is assigned here. So you click and it starts recording keybind. Whatever key you press, I press the space bar in this case. I'll change it so you can see it happen. I'll do the right shift key. And then you hit stop recording. So now whenever I press that right shift key, when I'm on Discord, my mic turns on. Whenever I'm not pushing the right shift key, my mic is off. This is extremely useful because you're not having to keep up with if your mic is muted or not. It's just basically whenever you want to talk, push down the button. It's like a talkback. So that's really useful in terms of students, or if somebody doesn't have headphones and they're having to play their audio through their speakers and their mic is right next to their speakers. You can deal with lots of feedback issues and doubling. This just kind of helps eliminate all that. And then they have this extremely useful setting, the push talk release delay. This is essentially when the gate kicks back in after you've let go of the button. So it starts off, I believe, at 20 milliseconds. That is the default setting when you download the app. I've set it to 400 because I've noticed, whether it's the Discord servers or my internet or whatever, that whenever I let go, it cuts off a little early because for some reason Discord hasn't received the end of my sentence yet, but it received the letting go of my push to talk before it received my audio. Maybe I'm just too fast with letting go of the key. I don't know, but this helps because it lets that last syllable get through even if I accidentally cut it off too early. It just kind of holds it for that much longer. And you can set this up to 2 whole seconds, which is great. So I put it around 400, 450. But in this case, as the producer, we need to do voice activity with no noise gate. And then obviously you can change your video settings down here. My camera does not have my Mac does not have a camera, so that's not necessary. And then there's just more settings down here. I've turned all of these off because, again, my audio I've got set on my end. I don't need it automatically setting anything for me. And then there's all of that down there. So that's how you set up all of the audio settings for Discord. Now let's test out a call here. Let me pull something up. All right, so I've got a second account on my iPad. The account to run Discord, it is totally free, which is extremely useful. There are paid subscriptions, but that has to do with video quality. But you already at a baseline for free. You get 720p, which is plenty. So let me do a video call with my iPad here. All right. So you can pull up this home screen in the friends, and you can let's see. Yeah, up here, this green button, you can add a friend. So they'll have a username and a number that follows. Once you've added them, you can create a direct message, and you'll pull up this right here. And so let me just do a test call. I'm going to do a video call again, even though my iPad or my Mac does not have a camera. I'm still going to do a video call because you can screen share on Discord just like Zoom, but in my opinion, it's more quality. So here comes. Okay, had a little issue there. Let me just double check our settings here. I'll just turn this off for now. Make sure it's muted here. Yeah. And we'll just restart Discord to be safe. All right. Try it one more time. All right. Now we're working. All right. So we've started this video call. And just to show, because it doesn't look like anything's really happened, because again, I don't have a camera, so by default, it doesn't start a video call, but I'll go ahead and turn this on just to show you that it's working. So I have my iPad set to push to talk so that it's not going to be happening in double right now as my iPad's sitting right here by my mic. But what we can show is you can turn on screen share. Again, you have stream quality, which is 720p by default, which is fantastic in my opinion. And you can hit share, and there we go. We've got the screen sharing happening. I can see it on my iPad right here, which I cannot show you what my iPad is showing, but it looks like this. And then if I were to pull up Logic, now I can see Logic on my iPad, and the quality is pretty good. I mean, it has slight pixelation when I do some fast movement, but I can read everything on there, and that's on my iPad, which is a smaller screen than most laptops. So extremely useful. So we'll go back here. We'll turn off screen sharing. There we go. And just again to test, what we'll do here is play some Spotify audio, and I'll turn the volume up on my Mac so that you can hear. So that's coming through, and it honestly sounds really good. I can also play some Logic audio, which I'll turn down real quick. And there we go. And now we've solved the forever frustrating issue of how to get Logic directly to the person you're video chatting, and it sounds pretty good. I'm not playing it through my speakers and holding my phone mic up to it. It's not going through some bad Zoom server where it's getting distorted and compressed. Discord's audio servers seem to be really, really good, partly because, again, this is designed for video game streamers, and so these guys are making tons of money, and they have to put out quality content constantly. So this is designed for multimedia. It's designed for having video chats while also streaming video, while also having multiple outputs. I mean, it's set up to be for some high quality stuff and for a lot of work. And it handles it really well. I've already done a couple sessions through this, and it's already, everyone on the other end has said that it's significantly better than Zoom and trying to talk over FaceTime or whatever. So that's really useful. So now let me show you just a few more features in Discord that I think are useful, especially if you, for some reason, apply this to your classes. I think that these features are really incredible. So when you create a server here, this is essentially their term for a group, or it's like a hub. So you can create a server or join a server. So if you create a server, you'll name it, and then, for instance, it pulls up this page. So you have two little windows here. You have a little column with locations, and it looks like I've already kind of went through a walkthrough of this. So what happens by default is you have a general text channel and a general voice channel. So the text channel is essentially just a group text thread, which is really useful because within the same app that you're talking to your students, you can have messages and you can send files. I mean, I've sent MP3 files through this, which if somebody pulls up the MP3 file on a phone, I've found that you can't play it, but on the computer app, you can. And you can also download it on the computer app, which is extremely useful. And you can send pictures, messages, GIFs, all of the above. You can also create multiple text channels. So you can have, an assignments related text channels. So anything in this text thread is related to assignments so that you can kind of filter out from anything else in here. You could create channels for individual students because you can make it invite only. And that's really useful too. So you can control who all's in here. Then you have the voice channel. The voice channel is really useful because it is an active, ongoing phone call, and whoever is in it is a part of it. So if I were to click on it, I have hopped into the voice channel, and because, again, our audio input settings are this chat input we set up, starting right now, since I'm in this voice channel, my audio from my computer is now being streamed into this voice channels group, which means anyone, for instance, if I were to hop in from my iPad, anyone who hops into the voice channel, you can see my iPad there now, can now hear my Mac's audio. So again, we'll test with Spotify. And there it is. So it's already just streaming right there. Now, this is useful because I have used this in the particular practice of I can, if I'm working on a session and the artist doesn't necessarily need to be talking to me or giving me active feedback, but wants to be listening as if they're in the room, I can jump in the voice channel, and so can they. They can mute their mic, and I can just be working, and they can just listen. And we don't have to be actively voice chatting. They can be doing their own thing, but they can just listen if they want. They can tune in. Another applicable situation for this is for if a teacher needed to do office hours. You can just hop in the voice channel. You know, if your office hours are from 5 to 6, you can hop in at 5, and if anyone has a question or needs to talk to you, they can just hop in the voice channel and ask you a question, hop out, and you don't have to set up a call. You don't have to text each other saying, hey, I'm getting on right now. You can just hop in if they know you're going to be there. So another really extremely useful feature right there. There's more features which I won't get into. The platform is designed for these streamers, and so there's just lots of amazing features. But I think beyond that, just the video chatting itself is the highest quality that I've found of any video chatting software. That's video and audio, but the most important thing in this particular situation is the audio, and so I think that this one has the best because I think that it comes down to solely internet connection, whereas Zoom, I think that Zoom's servers aren't as quality as Discord or FaceTime. And the problem with FaceTime sometimes is that it switches between cellular data and internet data, and it can just get messed up quality-wise. But Discord seems to be very stable and really just comes down to internet connection, which is just that many less variables. So that's the whole setup. This is, again, that's how you would set it up for a situation where you have an audio interface. I'll do another video for if the person on the producer's end doesn't have an audio interface. It's a lot more complicated, but it still works just the same. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to show anything else, but that is how you set up all your Mac audio to go through your video chatting. This same thing works if you do decide to use Zoom. You can just make your input on Zoom chat input and make your output chat out. These just show up as inputs and outputs on your Mac now, so you can see right there chat input and chat output. So yeah, let me know if you need anything, if you have any questions. Other than that, I hope you find use for this.